So today, to revive the hope of peace and a two-state solution, I state clearly, as Prime Minister of this great country, that the United Kingdom formally recognises the State of Palestine.
It took the Palestinian people 100 years of struggle, of steadfastness, of sacrifice to come to this point that Britain, that has started the agony of the Palestinian people through the Balfour Declaration, promised our land away. And since then, Britain and many other Western countries have been negating and denying the Palestinian right to self-determination by refusing to recognize the state of Palestine. This is a moment for all those Palestinians throughout the years, the generations, the revolutions, the intifadas that have got us to this point.
Over 60,000 Palestinians have been killed, and according to Israel's own intelligence service, over 80% of which are civilians. You know, we are seeing men and women being killed, or young children being killed just queuing up for water. You know, we all heard the voice of Hind Rajab, you know, which cried out to the world for help. This is the vision that people are seeing on their screens, and this is now playing out pressure on the politicians. And poll after poll in this country shows that the people of this country want a recognition of the state of Palestine. And so it is not appears to be a moral decision, but it appears to be a decision made under duress and under pressure.
The change in the public opinion here, the energy of the British people, the hundreds of thousands in the streets every day, every week, every month, for a long period of time. The British people have turned this protest movement against genocide in Gaza, against the occupation and colonization in the West Bank, to be the longest and the largest protest movement in the history of this country. The British people have turned London into the epicenter of the global movement for justice. And because of the British people, the government has to heed, had to listen.
100 years and counting, and a shameful one at that. From Balfour onwards, you know, this country has created a narrative which has, in my opinion, no doubt been a major part in the dispossession of the Palestinian people. Spreading the statement that Palestine was a land without a people. You know, that was a myth that has permeated to every fabric of society that believes that this land didn't belong to anybody. The Palestinians were there, Palestinians are here now, and the Palestinians will be there in the future if we ensure that we recognize their legal status in this country. So therefore, we have a historical responsibility as a country more than anybody else.
It must not be just a mere diplomatic gesture. It must be real, actual, and only a first step towards enforcing international legality, enforcing international resolutions and legitimacy, rather than negotiating. We need to bring Israel beneath the law, not above the law. The duplicity, the selectivity, the hypocrisy for years has led us to this genocide. Today, we must take responsibility, acknowledge the wrongs of the past, and move forward. And moving forward can only happen when people's legitimate rights are fulfilled, and when those who violate the basic values of humanity, the basic universal values, are held accountable.
Ideally, at this moment in time, we need immediate measures. Okay, we need an immediate ceasefire. We need immediate access to aid. So there's a lot of acute and immediate measures to be needed. But the recognition of the Palestinian state may be one step in the process, but in the long run, for the Palestinian people, it will give them dignity and it will give them equality in the eyes of the world. So yes, it may come from a position of not principle, it may not come from a position of morality, this recognition, rather than a pressurized position. But in the end, the most important thing that it's one small step towards a greater picture and a narrative that will hopefully mean that we will see a free Palestine in our lifetime.